Not a whole lot of investment outside of the pistols, though. I mean, only Shroud has any kind of armor, so Cbble just full-blown saving. He wants to have the AWP, obviously. If there's some success here early on, if they can at least take the teeth out of this attack. So far, not very good. There's Stewie, there's automatic, but the trades come in with these UMPs, and Stewie at the fountain, he's got to find more, and that's perfect. 2-on-2 now, 2 Deagles. This could be dangerous for North.
Yeah, the Deagle Bros are about to kick off. Stewie and Automatic, the 2 players who've been having big results recently for Cloud9, have to hold on to this. Automatic's got a tag. That's not bad. Piece by piece, they need to work this one down, and they can back away a little bit here, and they have. Stewie's found a UMP as well, but he can't hit the shot perfectly on the cross. Agtho comes out. Cbble, though, deals with the threat, and Automatic has to deal with 2 now. 42 seconds left. Bomb on Cbble, and they've got to be worried. You've got to feel there's something here, but no. Kept control in the end by Config, not letting it slip too far, but that started to spiral. Yeah, it certainly did, and you could see a world where that UMP that Stewie picks up actually gets that kill, and all of a sudden it's a 2-on-1 and the bomb's not in the sight, so very, very dangerous for North. Those 2 Deagles kind of really going to work. Nicely done from North, though, to readjust. And now, I mean, this should be a little bit easier. I mean, this is kind of interesting as also Stewie and Automatic buying back up into this round. So CZ and Armor on top of that this time. So maybe trying to surprise, giving himself a chance, some tools in both of these rounds to try and pull it out. MSL and Magis, they could get caught off guard. They have Mac 10s. They want to farm up. They're thinking there's going to be no armor buy here. So, I mean, they can these Mac 10 buys can get neutralized pretty quickly. Did they see him cross? I'm not sure if Cbble or AZ saw Stewie get into the spot. Now, they only have 1 molly to clear it out. And yeah, the flank's the problem. They gambled. They took the risk by stacking 2 on long, no one spawning towards middle. Nothing could be having an issue here, and I think, yeah, this is not nice. MSL is just completely seeing the whole picture here. The painting has been unveiled, and nothing still gets a kill towards Magis. So, okay, it's okay. It's still being kept in check, and the last 2 players, you know, you're kind of left hanging at this point.
MSL made it look so cool. He had everything going for him, and then he just misses some shots. That's a bit awkward. Does find the kill in the end, but yeah, there's really nothing. Automatic, I almost want to just say, just save the armor.
Yep.
Maybe in his position, he can find an AK-47 at the end. There's a good kill from Skadoodle. He's going to get away. Taking some bullets through the door, but he can do a little bit more damage. Config going to chase this down with the UMP. There's Automatic, but now he's risking the armor. But AZ and Cajun B, I mean, you can just see AZ bailing out. He's got that AK-47, does not want to drop that, doesn't even want to risk it. All you're doing is taking maybe a CZ out of Automatic's hands. That's not worth the risk. So wise by him to just fall back, cut your losses, and get out.
Yeah, small bits of damage by Cloud9. Good, though. They're keeping North humble. They're not going to have the perfect purchase if, you know, they get worked down early on. It's nice. Small bits of damage here, but, you know, plants galore, a lot of kills. They'll be okay, North. They can get the buy that they want. But let's see what Cloud9 come up with into this one. They still have that UMP. That's going to be on automatic. They've got the Mac 10 on Skadoodle. You gonna stick on that one?
No.
Please don't.
He's going to go for the AWP, I think. I think he's probably deciding between if he wants to do light armor and a smoke, which he's going to do. Oh, no. No armor, so he goes for the kit.
All right.
Cool.
Let's see how they work this one out, because, you know, MSL just walked through middle last time, so they've got to be aware that there's going to be presence throughout this map. They can't just gamble things through it, but I doubt that's going to be a problem now they're on the full buy. So, North, it's all down to you. Let's see what you do with that dictating pace that you can bring out Config straight away. Just not going to be holding back at all. Gets out towards platform, has a little peek around, no one up on towards the tree boost, but Stewie is on towards a statue, but I think Config might have spotted a shoulder, turns the flash, waits for the hit to come in now. Here we go, the flood from North begins, and Stewie has to try and back away, find an angle he can work with. He's kind of locked in on the side. Good flashes coming through, though, hindering their approach. But the bomb's going down, the wall of smokes has paid off.
Yeah, this is super nice. There's a little bit of a gap that Stewie can look through. He's got to have the indication, got to at least be worried about someone being a chicken coop. No damage taken by Cloud9 quite yet, though. The boost up, though, is going to do it. There it is. First blood to Magis in the round. But Stewie and Shroud respond very, very quickly. Now Cloud9 is here at automatic. He gets shut down very nicely by Config, and North keeps control of B platform, and that's the power position. Shroud can do nothing here except try and fall away, but he's not. He's boxed in by the AWP. Cloud9 looked like there was a chance to get back into it, but North, these B hits pissed around, and now the 4th round have just been devastating.
Yeah, North haven't had to dig deep in their playbook yet. We haven't seen them having to push it too far. They're fine where they are. Cloud9 need to make that first impression, make that big piece to come through, and then, okay, North have to refine their reply. And that's what I want to see eventually when it happens, but so far North, large and in charge pretty much, just full control at this point. Magisk on the Mac 10, going to be trying to hunt that one out, just try and find a couple of players, and they're going to go for a little bit of a stack. Going to stack out towards A, but this time they at least have someone watching towards mid, so you're not going to see that MSL straight up walk. He could be able to just brute past automatic, but we'll see if it comes off.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate for Cloud9. It's good with the AWP didn't even get a chance to get into that round. Such an awkward situation to rotate as the AWP, and you just see a wall of smokes everywhere. So a little bit tough for him in that kind of a situation. This time, Cloud9 stacking over towards the A bomb site. Pushed up a little bit towards mid and in the A holes.
Yeah, it's going to leave Stewie all alone over towards B, and even he's a little bit more centralized. So looks like North, they're taking it slow. They're waiting for any kind of aggression. They're not going to spot it, though, but great chance for them. It looks like it's just going to be like a defaulted or like a, just a strategic outplay that's going to put North up 5-0 in this.
Yep. And if you're North, you're very happy with that. Maybe kind of question, are they really going to play us on Cobble? Maybe they got something in mind. Maybe they, maybe they've been doing some work. But so far for them, this puts minds at rest. Stewie the only one present towards B, so he's going to have to pull off some sort of hero level play at this point. But maybe just hinder the bomb plant, stop any aggression kind of falling toward, going beyond that smoke, just doing what he can. Just going to try and clear the corner. No one's actually there. And he's going to back away from this one. You've got the 3-man flank on the back. That's what you want to be seeing. Config's going to be challenged out. Nice work from Nothing there. Going to claim the scalp from Config. And now Easy going to be called into action. He's going to do just fine. Nothing, though, managed to make his way through. Stewie's found Magisk. Okay, they're doing a bit of damage here, though. Cage and B still standing in, so is Easy. And then you've got MSL as well if you really need to, pull in that final line. Nothing has got a rifle, so it might be time to back away. Keep that one in the back pocket.
Yeah, and no real need for North to chase him down at all. They're going to be buying next round anyway, so again, just make sure your economy is going to stay strong. They're not really in any kind of danger, but no reason not to just allow it to build up moving forward. Another nice round from them. A B hit gets them up towards 5, and Cloud9. It'll be interesting to see what they pull out here, because since North has been abusing, this is kind of the danger. This is kind of like the in-game leader that MSL is. If you're abusing B this much early on, if you're having this much success, at one point you can call a switch up towards A, maybe thinking that Cloud9 is going to try and cheat someone else over. Like instead of having 2 players at A, maybe they send a 4th player over at the start just to make sure everything's shored up. And if you can hit A very quick, if you can find that pocket of time, sometimes it is a bit of a guessing game, but you can exploit that kind of a cheat or that kind of a change in the defense from Cloud9.
Yeah, I think it's quite an interesting thing to see when he does pull that in. And, well, we'll see if it comes through. This time we actually got the double AWP straight away for Cloud9, so a big investment for them. Stewie going to be picking that one up. He's over towards that B side. We've got Skadoodle over on long, and now Automatic's under pressure. He's going to have a lot of players going towards him, but he stands up and he stands tall, gets 2, and that gives away a big picture of what North was trying to get up to. Skadoodle can fall off this as well. He hasn't been instantly pressured anywhere. Config and Cage and B have to take their time. They had no control on long.
Look at how much Cloud9 bit on the rotation, though.
Jesus.
Yeah, that is everyone. They've completely evacuated the B bomb site. Now, there's no one really there from North to take advantage of it, and they obviously don't know that they've bitten this much, but that'll be interesting to see if that trend continues and over-rotate from Cloud9. Positioned by Automatic out in the open as well. Surprising he gets that second kill. I think that's traded off more often than not, and there's Skadoodle holding the angle. Cajun goes down trying to take the duel. It's going to be an easy one for Skadoodle. He's going to be happy for that. Now, I mean, the big thing here as well, North can do decent damage. They get a couple kills, obviously, but the big thing is that the double op setup is a huge investment, and there it is. If they can keep that out of their hands, what a shot from Magisk, but he gets spammed down. So Shroud will be able to pick up the op, so not really in danger of losing that weapon. Ooh.
There you go, Skadoodle adjusting well, not going to stay in the same place twice, does the work really well. So between Automatic and Skadoodle, that round was completely controlled.
Yes, nicely done from the A defense. So, I mean, there was kind of the idea from MSL saying maybe this is, we've punished it twice now, very, very convincingly, so maybe that's when they cheat, and Cloud9 just holds strong. Still a lot of confidence in that B defense moving forward, obviously. Still with the double up setup as well. Yeah,
this time the North might just scrap that. Maybe don't feel it's not worth it yet. We can always go back to it, we can fall back to it, but what we were doing until that point was doing pretty nicely. So at the moment, again, it's that not necessarily rinse and repeat, but it's that play that works so well. It gets them the control towards platform, builds through it, and they're doing it again.
Yeah, and the big advantage they have is Config using the smoke is going to be able to get over. So once these, that's an awkward angle, but there's a nice Molotov. He's actually going to push through that, down to 39 HP, but oh, what a kill. Stewie swings out a little bit wide, and the op is overexposed. Again, the wall of smokes. Cloud9, how do you get back into this one? You haven't shown that you can do it yet.
They're so good at isolating anyone who tries to play through that smoke early. Stewie just got swept aside instantly, but now they're kind of respecting what could be going on. But MSL with the perfect timing coming through drop, pressuring anyone close by, and North just tying the noose. It's like when the Executioner enjoys his job watching this. Cage and B just going to close it down, and well, Cloud9, they had a bit of impact early on. They got around back, good stuff for them, but now it's reset and it hurts.
Yeah, it hurts a lot. It doesn't have to be a double save, so it's not the worst reset possible. But with Skadoodle and Nothing at 4,200 and Automatic at 3,500, they can even invest a little bit and buy into the next round. But this is perfect play from MSL. No one from Cloud9 with eyes on this, so a little bit of miscommunication, a mistake there from the defense. But as soon as he gets those kills, you see that's like the indication from the rest of North to just pile on through that smoke, and it's just like continue the attack. And Cloud9 just can't hold anything back. They really need to find an answer. I think they need to be a little bit more aggressive towards B platform. If North is going to be doing this wall of smokes, you can't just sit behind it and expect to be able to retake it too frequently. You need to get up in their face.
We'll see how long it takes Cloud9 to come up with that as the response. It needs to come in pretty soon. Not this round, of course. That's not going to be the case. But once they're on that buy again, maybe the double AWP's not going to help with that. Maybe it will. Maybe he wants to go and get that peek towards platform. You can play up there if you're feeling it. Maybe get Shroud to kind of push up with him. There's so many options they can go for, but they need to do it. That's something that actively needs to be changed. So, again, keep your eyes on seeing what Cloud9 do now to find their response once it comes through from North. But North, you know, they play these ones out pretty carefully. They know what's working for them. We haven't seen too much of a switch up. They tried that A hit, didn't work so well. Falling back to what works. And now, well, the nade's done some good work there for Cloud9, but beyond that, it's kind of tough, and the dinks are coming in, it's kind of confusing. You can see, like, where is that coming from? There is a stack and there is a boost, so this is quite nice, actually, positioning from Cloud9, but we still know that water smoke is incredibly potent at this point, just kind of keeping the players isolated. AZ's the one playing in from the position that MSL exploited last time, and yeah, a very quick and clean, again, round coming through, and less automatic can maybe get a couple more kills.
Yeah, if you're North, I mean, this is just keep running this.
Yep.
Wait, is Cloud9 going to do anything to stop it? That'll become the question. So yeah, Cloud9, this might be a timeout scenario, just down 7-1 this quickly in the first half, and it's the same one thing, just kind of beating you over and over again, this wall of smoke. So as Cloud9, if you take a timeout, you just say as a team, you know, either you figure out something, you know, either get aggressive, put someone in the chicken coop, maybe you have someone supporting Stewie who's in the site, because they're playing a little bit more passive where you have to retake through that, but also it's a lot of focus on drop, and no one from North is really exploiting that until late in the round.
And that's the problem as well. It's not like they're keeping that drop control late. They're winning on no fronts. Automatic, though, does at least get the rifle, which is nice for him. They can kind of spread that out. Shroud can get on that if he wants to, if he needs it. Same for Stewie, it doesn't really matter either. Can start working towards it, because that buy is still not perfect, but this is where they need to stop it. And again, this kind of then falls into the hands of MSL. Does he want to, at this point, then go, let's just try and hit A again. Let's just not do the same thing. We've got other options here. It's certainly possible, maybe a bit of a split. Doesn't matter, but they can just try and just keep Cloud9 on their toes with any answer they come up with. Let's see, though, if there is a big switch here from Cloud9.
This is where you can start running fakes as well if you're MSL, or maybe it doesn't even matter. Maybe you're just going to get a pick off right at the start. So Cbble trying to give his team an edge early on, it's not going to work. Now down to Automatic to readjust his position and try and shore up that hole in the defense.
And the thing is that, to be fair to North, most of the times, or a good couple of rounds, they have been doing this kind of like 3-2, then coming back over towards B, then doing the plat hit. So for Cloud9, they didn't know that. They didn't know they've had that early presence over there. So you've got to kind of test the waters, but Automatic, this is tough. Yeah, you can't back away safely from that. He's going to give himself room, though. So going to have to fall back. He can play from tree, he can play from cannons. There's options, and there's that platform aggression. Finally showing a little bit of play throughout the map, but this kind of may encourage more than anything the A split.
Well, and the big thing it allows as well is Magis to be in this position because of so much aggression. You know, smoke, Molotov, and 2 bodies to take control of those B halls and get the information. That attention's not in drop zone, which is where Magis has found himself a very, very nice position. So he's just going to be a lurker, and he's going to be very passive here. He's going to wait until this hit on the A bomb site comes in. That's when he'll pounce, and actually, it might not even come because North is coming all the way back towards the B bomb site, so Cloud9 is just getting peeled apart.
Yeah, and AZ can just do one smoke, and it's going to keep him there. I think he's going to do it right now. It's just going to be the smoke towards the door, and then Automatic and Shroud will be like, all right, he's got to be here. Yeah, he's done the smoke, so now Shroud's going to stay committed. Automatic will probably get the kill, I can imagine, or they might just deny him, but look where the rest of the team are right now. Nothing and Stewie are going to be calling for help. They're going to need it. They're going to hear these steps coming, but nothing this time. In a good position, but the trade comes out, and Config just bullies his way through. Straight through on this one. North, again, get that B control. Sure, it was a little bit longer in the making, but they've done it anyway, and the last 2 players are cut off and left with AZ to hunt them down.
And that patience and that positioning for Magis gets that kill onto Stewie, helps open up that B bomb site. So this time, North applies a little bit of pressure over towards A, obviously helped out by that pick on a Cbble right at the start, and now we're going to see a pause come out for Cloud9, but I mean, that is just tactical outplay. That was very, very nicely done from North.
Yeah, and again, credit to MSL. He's been pulling the strings nicely. It's kind of that mid-round in-game leading. You know, it's not just that initial call. It's not that, like, all right, this is the plan. This is what we're going to be doing, right? That's one thing. That's perfectly fine. But pulling these players left, right, and center, leaving AZ over towards A, being a constant nuisance, Magisk in great positions, just to always make Cloud9 feel incredibly uncomfortable. I feel as though they've never had a position where they can feel powerful. They, okay, found a response finally to that big B hit, but that wasn't even what they went for. If maybe Cbble didn't die early, they could have maybe changed up, but it is what it is.
And I mean, I think it's a big factor as well that, you know, just by going to that B bomb site, the player who's been having the best event for Cloud9 is Automatic, and they're going away from him. Whether that's designed, whether they said let's not even mess with him, or whether it's just working out that way, it's super nice because no one else in Cloud9 is stepping up. I mean, nothing and Stewie at 4 kills each, Cbble with 3, Shroud with 2, Automatic's at 7. I mean, it's nothing special, but he just hasn't seen a lot of action, and he hasn't been in situations to take any kind of fight where he has a chance at even winning the round. So this is looking dicey for Cloud9, just not able to stop. This B defense is just a sieve at the moment.
Yeah, that is one way to put it.
Nice way to put it.
Yeah. Civ.
Bringing it back.
Yeah, I think they just need to get the coach's mic on so these guys can have that chat, because I think Cloud9 maybe need that external perspective, maybe just need to have someone who's out of the game. It's quite funny, there's a lot of teams who actually just take these times to sit there. I think it was VoDs Pro in some point of a discussion was saying that sometimes we just let Neo get into the Neo zone, right? We just take the pause, just give him some time to calm down, focus in.
He found it.
Yeah, he certainly did in the last game as well. Jeez, that close from him was just... that's the one thing with teams like VoDs Pro. You want to have those players who can always just go that step, even in the biggest rounds. But here, you need Cloud9 just to find the first step, right? They just need that answer, because so far they're finding nothing to stop North. And there are options aplenty, but North's money is so robust. They're in such a nice position. They're 8-1 up. At this point as well, if you're Cloud9, you just need rounds on the board. It's getting to that really tough point. And
you see, I mean, you could see the coach of Cloud9, Valens, talking a lot. Automatics obviously chiming in, but that's something that in the past Cloud9 has really missed. One of the teams who is, I mean, perhaps, I don't know if it's resistant is the right word, or maybe just didn't find anyone they really wanted. They had a coach for all year, Kanji, who seemed to be doing good work with them, but I mean, he's got a whole other career going on, so he's not with them. So they bring in Valens, who's a former coach of Automatics when he was on TSM.
Nice.
Yeah. Also, like, apparently, it was a Google engineer, or like Microsoft engineer, or something like that. Something crazy.
Really?
So, yeah.
Damn. Okay. Nicely done. All right, we've got a bit of a switch up here, though. Let's see what we've got. We've got Shroud playing incredibly passive towards the door. We've got Automatic playing very actively on long. And maybe this is their answer for now. Stewie getting up close, but the buy is so bad. It's really not pleasant. So whatever they can do here is great, but it just feels like you're flogging a dead horse at this point. It's kind of rough. Nice. There we go. Cbble finally playing towards B with the AWP as well. We haven't seen him being the main man there. Stewie's had it a couple of times, so maybe this could be a big difference maker. Yeah, I think the big thing as well is they obviously don't expect an AWP to be in the hands. I don't think this smoke from Automatic. Stewie's push as well. That's perfect. They have the info. They can put the players over towards A. Stewie's up there. Magic can still make a problem by being by drop, but it's been red. Stewie reads it like a book, but he still doesn't get the kill. Magius turns around at the perfect time, and now there's a problem. Automatic is low. He's got 5 HP, and he's got a player like MSL enclosing towards him. Yeah, it's got to be perfect, and it's not. That's just a tough position to be in. Magius Boy just shuts down Stewie. That's incredible game sense for him to turn around. And now, I mean, it looked good, but I mean, there's no weaponry in the hands of Cloud9 after that. The AWP falls, and now it was just 2 deagles, nothing dies, and Shroud's the only one left. So we're gonna have to see him do something crazy. He's got the AWP. Is he even gonna go for this? That's the question. 2 Molotovs and a smoke. There's no access to this retake. I think you save this op at this point, unless you get like a kill very quickly here. There you go. He's gone down now, and he's, you're going to be limited, and Shroud knows that. And North are taking no risks in this. Well, it's certain risks, but you look at the mollies that are put down. Look at the way they're playing this. Even a 3v1, they're like, all right, just keep smothering them out of this game, and it's working. Shrouds have to back away. Yeah, this gets to the point where the tough part as a player, if you're a Cloud9 player, is when you start to feel hopeless, just because of things like that. Where whenever you try and make a play, especially the Stewie coming behind Magic like that and getting just spun upon, that's when it starts feeling like you just can't do anything right. Shroud gets the pick onto MSL. They know where he is. I don't think anyone's really close enough to punish this. Could find something. We know he's like through drop, but Shroud can just play this safe now. He can just watch his push. There you go. He's fine. All right, but the money is finally okay, I guess, for Cloud9. But you're 9-1. It's so tough to watch this because it feels like Cloud9 never had a chance. North got off that great start. They found something that worked. They hammered it home. And then Cloud9's response is what now? They've got to get every round to have a really competitive half here. Yeah, I mean, Cajun's having a good game. He's 12-1. Everyone else has just had solid impact. But I mean, the real MVP of this for North at the moment is MSL with his calling. I mean, absolutely. It's not even about any kind of crazy individual performance or level from the North side. It's just Cloud9's been so outplayed tactically that they just haven't had a chance to get into this game. Nothing is going to be stuck very close down here. That flash is going to be nice, but it doesn't matter when AZ just turns the corner like that. You better hit that headshot very quickly. And now North, if they don't encounter pressure at the bomb site, they should know Automatic is going to be over here. They're going to find out very soon. There's 1 kill. Shroud gets 1, but it's traded. And Automatic can flank into the site. Yeah, Config as well is doing something similar on the other side, but AZ finding that. I don't know how Stewie played into this one. Now it's a 3v... Okay, 2v2. Automatic finds it back. He's keeping this one so alive for Cloud9. Molly comes in. AZ is in trouble. He's going to burn alive. Nothing to do but die in that situation. I don't know if Skadoodle heard Config at this point. Seems like he has an indication because he has his back to mid and he's looking directly for this kind of a play, and that could be, that's going to happen. So either felt the game well, heard it, doesn't matter, it came through. You could see the North were trying to buy time for Config to become relevant to the round, but really well done from Automatic. They're not allowing them to just slow down, constantly just finding a little bit of pressure here and there. But again, I mean,
that round you win is the first in a long time, and it's based off an automatic triple. So if you're North, what do? Go right back to the wall of smokes.
Let's see if they do it. This is the start we've seen. You know, don't get confused by seeing the minimap when they're going towards A. They do this, they'll take a peek, they'll see if anyone's going to try and play up long, get a little bit of map control, just deny any early aggression that maybe Cloud9 will want to get just to find a bit of info. Not going to have it. We know how hard it is on Cobble anyway, let's be real here. But here's the difference as well. Stewie getting up close. Does he actually play towards Plat? Does he fall back? You've still got the 4-man stack towards B. 2 players this time. Not actively playing in drop, but around it. Config and Magisk might not have the easiest of times. All right, finally. We'll see if it actually works out for Cloud9 in the end. Shroud's there too, just playing really close by in that side room. Just trying to keep a tab on it, trying to read North, but North are keeping every trick up their sleeve.
Yeah, although Cloud9 seems to have a very good defense for this. They have 2 players paying attention towards drop. They had a crossfire setup that's a little bit broken. It looks like Shroud and Nothing are switching positions a tad bit. But this looks like North wants to split towards the A bomb site with the positioning so far. And again, it's going to be going right at automatic, so maybe a little bit dicey for him. The one player on Cloud9 who's been able to stop them.
And the jump-off point now begins as well for the players in drop. For the T side, they're going to start pressuring to keep people like Shroud, people like Nothing busy, but automatic this time can't do the huge damage. He does one, he trades it out. That's not bad, but for that position, the way you're playing, it's going to be tough for him to carry on. Now Cloud9 start to rotate. A normal response to this, but North still have players everywhere. They still got Config working out by Plat. They still have Magisk over by Drop. Cage and B as well, going to start moving with the bomb. Cloud9 are never going to be comfortable at this point, but the time is running out. That's the big difference. MSL is going to have to do something to keep players present on A, or just focus on the lurk, and that's it. He's going to try and keep them there. He's going to try and give the other players the best time they can have towards B. This has to be a very clean hit. 18 seconds. MSL's doing work as well. Stewie and Nothing have to stop this before it starts. 13 seconds now. They've got to cross pretty soon. This can be tough. Stewie is holding off. He's waiting. That's so well played in the end from Stewie as well. Between him and Nothing, they hold on. They don't play to the tune that North was trying to play to them.
Yeah, that was sick because MSL just throwing a little bit of a fake over there, even with 1 kill. The issue is because the timer was so low, that's something as a player you recognize as a fake. When you only see one person, when it's still pretty quiet in terms of the amount of bodies being thrown at you, and all it is one smoke. That's when you're like, guys, this is probably a fake. So even when he dies, Cloud9 know they just need to stick around at that B bomb site. So finally they hold on to it. North trying to be a little bit crazy on the map, but
here we go.
Cloud9 can still make this a half. Yeah, this is
the hit that's been working really well. All right, Shroud's in a good spot for it. This time they're not going to have that opening start. Maybe Config a little too far ahead. Maybe just kind of trying to play out of it like, guys, let's just win the round. Let's just do it. This time Skadoodle's there. AZ's the only one to bite back so far, and North are actually low on HP too. Any utility you put towards them is going to work well. Finally, Cloud9 have shut down what was working so well for North. And maybe a little bit of frustration, maybe some individual oversteps, of course, did a couple of players their lives to North, but Magisk find automatic, and look at this angle from AZ. Oh my God, that got too close. Now, though, the 1v2 is not going to work out for Magisk. He gets shut down by Nothing, and Cloud9 get a good amount on the board. If they get the last couple of rounds, this isn't bad, and the banks finally run out.
Yeah, and yeah, that's the big thing, is Cloud9 still on the verge of salvaging this half. It's looked so bad, but yeah, just 1 or 2 more rounds here, and they've got themselves a serviceable 5-6. I think what we saw at a config that round is he's been going wide on that platform for basically the whole half, so I think 1, it's something where maybe he just wanted to switch up his style a little bit, maybe try and catch Cloud9 off guard, and then 2, remember, I think it was a round or 2 before that when he had swung out wide and encountered Skadoodle's AWP, so maybe he's saying, I don't want to take that one-on-one duel with the AWP. So good job. That's what I was talking about earlier. Get aggressive towards that platform if you're Cloud9. Get someone close up like that. And it was I believe it was Stewie who was close up, and he's able to find that first kill and really take a lot of the bite out of the attack.
This is good for Cloud9. It gives them hope. If anything, you know, they've got 3 rounds now in a row. They finally found a bit of an answer. They finally had the money to do it as well. It was such a tough game before then. So if they're able to keep this up, maybe they can close out with a nice half there, keep the game, you know, possible to kind of turn around. You don't get North feeling like, all right, we've won this.
I mean, this was a team as well. When we've seen Cloud9 at their best, they had strong T sides as well.
Yes.
I mean, that's the big thing. I mean, you think, you know, the guys, the stars of this team, the roles they're in, Stewie's most effective on the T side. We can pick and choose his fights. Nice Molotov to slow down the rush, and that it is definitely a lot of utility use, nade, Molotov, smokes for Cloud9. But this is North setting up that wall, and is Stewie going to be able to have the impact?
They're trying to eliminate any possibility of a player getting that close, but Stewie's found a nice little angle here, that deep kind of corner, but look at the push. It's different. It's 3 players through drop. Shroud finally has to come in and do the work, but he can't do it. Trades out with AZ in the end, and it's 4v4, but there's the overrun. Config has had enough. He knew what happened last round, and he's turned it back on its head. So now 3v2, but Automatic's in a good spot. He could crush this here. Magisk on the stairs, but nice awareness between the two, just to slow it down for a second, wait for that response. And let's see if you're going to make that noise for Skedoodle again.
I would love to. Let's do it. Skedoodle, make me scream.
Jesus.
He's just going to fall back. That's unreal.
The tease is real. There we go. Nothing
what
gonna be fun.
A tease. All right, so, I mean, North this time, I mean, a lot of that action comes from the drop zone. I mean, really good trading, because it looked like Cloud9, there was a situation where, I don't know if Stewie, he was in that, like, cubby position a little bit over by the stairs. And I don't know if he got out of that because he was spotted. I don't think he was, but I think it was more because his teammate died and dropped, and he didn't have any safety net from that angle. Yep. So he tried to get out, and that kind of overexposed him to the players coming from platform. So he just got kind of put in an awkward situation that he couldn't recover from. So 10-4, Cloud9, we talked about it. They had a chance to make this a very good half, but it looks like, or I mean, to recover in this half.
Yep.
But it looks like North has kind of slammed the door shut on that idea to a certain degree. Definitely, if you're Cloud9, need this last round.
I don't know how they intend to do it. Look at the buy they're able to produce. Win-loss isn't fun. So, all right, Skedoodle, that's one way to do it. Cajun B gets decimated, and he's going to have to be ready for more action. Players now pouring up towards danger. Automatic nosy, puts down the smoke, hinders the approach. Can he find anything from this, though? AZ's on the other side, flashes himself through. Skedoodle is still up closer. He's not back down, and he's not backing away. MSL is just on the other side of that wall. The molly comes in. Skedoodle's still so committed here. 3 players as well from North, and there it is. And there it goes. MSL finding 1 is big, but that is bigger. Nothing finding 2. Denying the push up through middle is massive. It's left Config a mile away and with so much to do. Yeah,
huge play from nothing to recover. Skedoodle trying to stay alive as long as possible, and I think he would have been all right. It's that last spread of the Molotov that really beat him up. Smoke, flashbang, and he's in the shooting gallery. Cloud9 just holding the trigger and now eating an aid. One more flashbang is out. This would be monstrous. There's 1 kill. Can he get a second as he realized?
Oh my God, no!
It's a one-on-one now with Stewie with the CZ. This is about to be a nightmare for Cloud9.
Stewie has so little to play with here, but then Config so low as well. 3 HP and a lot of time for Config to just decide how he wants to play this one out. Stewie's just got up close. He's got himself a rifle, and he's just going to maybe wait this one out. But there's a possibility. What if Config went long? What if he's just waiting this out? What if he's going to be so many questions for Stewie? And I don't see a kit either. And there's a molly on Config. There's a smoke as well.
I mean, the big issue is one of the advantages that the big advantage that Config has just created outside of those 2 kills in a one-on-one.
Is he going through drop? Is he going back around towards A? Do it.
He's a baller. But yeah, I mean, the big thing he has is information or lack thereof of Stewie not having the info of where he is. So now he can reposition anywhere he wants to go. He can do so many different things.
And Stewie, when he hears bombs have been planted, you're going to go at B, right?
Yep.
So that's so much time gained. Oh, this is so sick. The molly's actually given away a little bit here, and I think Stewie's like, oh my God, is this real?
I'm not sure he's using those words.
No, I think there's a word additional maybe to that, maybe a couple of others, but now let's see. Let's see the position the Config has gone for. Is he by the back of the van? Yeah, he is. That's actually pretty tough to play from now if they come up middle. The tree's going to be everything. Oh my God, who sees each other first? It's going to be Config. He gets the shot, but he can't put it off Stewie, though. Time is going to be tight on this one. He does not have a kit. Oh my God, that round.
I don't know. Is he going to get it? I think he might just have it. Oh no, he doesn't have it!
Oh my God, that's heartbreaking.
Disaster! Oh, what a play. That's so difficult if you're in Stewie's shoes, and you can see just the look on their faces. All of them just seem exhausted. Like they just got ran across this map for an entire half.
Config, you're an animal. That
1
position,
on 3 win.
Oh my God. That spot is only good if they really play back in and through the kind of door or come back through drop. You get the angle, is perfect. Playing up through middle is the hardest approach, but he somehow does it. But guys, we all need a break here. I need to take a breath, but that was incredibly close. So guys, do stay tuned. We'll be back in the second half in just a second. North giving Cloud9 the cold shoulder so far. This is 11-4 on the half. And it looked like maybe Cloud9 had finally found an answer, but, well, that was shut down very, very quickly. Their T-side has to be big now. And let's see if North can stop it before it starts.
Yeah, that's going to be the tough part. Is, I mean, at a certain point, it almost felt like Cloud9 at the end there was losing a lot of steam and losing a lot of fight in this matchup, just getting outplayed so much. So really, I mean, getting started quick is the first priority for Cloud9. Not just the pistol round, but the ensuing ones after it. A lot of utility picked up. Skadoodle with full utility, nothing as well, and it's going to be Stewie with off that flashbang, just spots one out towards Statue, but he falls away. Doesn't want to take that fight, so maybe just trying to bait out some nades of North Zone, but they all have armor.
All right, so 3 going to go drop. So basically, they faked out B. They're going to probably split A at this point, trying to pull AZ and MSL into positions that don't really favor this. But actually, MSL's got himself a little bit of a spot there, and now he's going to watch for the push-up. He trades it out eventually, but look at this. Magisk is very much alone towards A. He's going to have to try and find a way to be as relevant as possible and just still find a use for himself. They've gone towards a site. They haven't checked long yet. It's still a threat that could be there, and all players from Cloud9 now are going to get that bomb, well, pretty much secured at this point. Stewie's in a decent spot. Nothing's still watching in case Magisk is there.
Yeah, and that's nice. The veteran finding it out, making sure all bases are covered. And that kill on Config takes a lot of the danger away. No kit on this north side. I mean, I mentioned they all had small armor, so they've got to find all the kills. They've got to do it very quickly, and there's a lot of crossfires set up, and there's nothing. Over towards those A-hulls still after he cleaned out Magisk, and this is a pistol round for Cloud9. They're going to get their 5th round, and they'll just have to build upon it. It's not over yet. They need to get those ensuing. We can't see what we saw at SK, which was winning the pistol rounds, losing the second rounds. That cannot happen to Cloud9 here.
We'll see if they keep this up. It is round by round sort of thing for Cloud9 here. It's a long way back, and North know this too. Look at the buy they're going on as well. Got the Deagle Scout combo, bit of a CZ as well for AZ. Certainly works nicely. MSL on the Scout though. Not going for Cajun B on that one.
MSL's a Scout player. That is the storyline we have to follow. There was that day at DreamHack where MSL was just like a god. He just destroyed everyone.
It could be a thing. We'll see if it's going to be a thing. I'm not 100% sure, but that's going to call for maybe a little bit more attention from Magisk as well. Good tag. Goes, oh my god, why did I doubt it? Of course, not like this, I think is something that we can say. If there's anything more that happens, I'm done.
Well, Skadoodle's been tagged down to 50 HP. I don't think that Deagle... I don't know if you necessarily want to keep challenging. You've done a little bit of chip damage. Oh, he does. He brings it out of 16. So the Scout on Skadoodle is not nearly as impactful, where if I told you that between MSL and Skadoodle, that MSL would have the better Scout play, that'd be... you'd probably call me crazy.
Yeah. Heathen words, but still more damage. Every tag that comes in just makes this round more and more viable, literally, tick by tick with that HP.
Especially because Cloud9 hasn't gained anything for taking this damage. They don't have control of anything except for maybe A-hulls. Now that Molotov is going to give him a little bit of drop. No one has fallen down quite yet. AZ is rotating around to the window to make sure that they can't really exploit that fact. But if you're Cloud9 at the moment, you look lost on this map tactically.
Yeah, nothing's gaining ground on long, so they might try and work off the back of this. There's still Magisk there, and he's just going to be holding the angle, I can imagine, by the APC. Yeah, just sit here. You can at least get a tag and fall back from it.
Where's the rotation from North? I mean, yeah, they haven't seen anything quite yet, but I mean, still 4 players over towards the B bomb, so that's a big gamble. And pulled out of position. Magisk trying to check his angles. Still no one moving. Now finally they are. Here come all the blue dots, but Magisk just has to hold on. He repositions, but he's been spotted.
Oh, AZ's got in there fast as well. He's down by the APC, but gets just moved aside by Automatic. There's one shot. Now the cross could have been dangerous, but no. Automatic is keeping this one safe. Time is a bit of a problem. But at the moment, bomb's gone down. Okay, Skadoodle's low, but Automatic's good. Nothing is good. They should be able to keep this one in check.
I don't think they're in danger of losing this round anymore, but Config here can do a lot of damage in terms of taking guns away. I mean, nothing's looking this way, but if Config just chills here, you imagine this is going to be where Cloud9 kind of evacuates the bomb site, but he's going to keep pushing forward. Nothing should... Oh, he's not. Nice shot from Config rounding the corner. Skadoodle low in the site. Again, I think the time has dwindled way too much for them to actually win this, but they can still do the damage. They can take this AK-47 away. Oh, the Deagle misses its shot. Config trying to hold him in as long as possible. And that's going to be Skadoodle making sure this AK can survive the round.
And there we go. So, well played out in the end by Cloud9 to at least get the round on the board, but it wasn't pretty, and it did make it a little bit costly. You can see a couple of players suffering off the back of that, but they know the North aren't going to have a great deal this round. Probably just be the cleanest of rounds, I can imagine, for them. See if they actually buy anything at this point. I'm not too sure. But yeah, this was out Automatic just having a beast of a moment, just keeping it in check before it got a little bit dangerous. If that Scout maybe caught a couple on the cross, that could be a huge problem. But North now just going to have to respect it. Just go, all right, that's fine. And, well, Cloud9 are going to go and farm.
Yep, that's not a bad idea. MSL on the stairwell. That's going to be Skadoodle with the kill, but the MAC-10s, yeah, they've done the damage. Stewie's going to be in a tough spot. Pops off the head, turns around, but he does get dropped by Cajun. So it's going to be a 7th round for Cloud9. So, I mean, at least now, even with just 4 rounds on the CT side, they've kind of recovered enough to make this a half. The first gun round is going to be huge, though. I mean, if they win it, they're essentially, you know, definitely back in the game. So North here, UMP on AZ. We'll have to see what kind of tactics Cloud9 are going to come out with. Is it going to be something tactical and execute based like we saw from North in the first half, or is it just going to kind of be, you know, trust in Stewie and Automatic to have some of that early damage on these hits and just kind of be overwhelming bullies?
Well, it's going to be a curious picture, isn't it? I'm kind of wondering at this point, and I can imagine North are the same. A lot of early utility put down. Stewie edging forward as well.
More differences stylistically as well. North putting 4 players here at the B bomb site very early on in the rounds, where we saw Cloud9 kind of split it up, 2 at A, 3 at B. This is just overwhelmingly at the B bomb site to stop any kind of early play.
And MSL's going to time it pretty much to his, I can imagine, his thought pattern as to maybe when could they push up towards mid. When could Magic's be in problem from players walking up danger? All right, I'll check now. Nothing actually there. So Magic can start lingering out. He's doing that as well. When he was in previous games in Cbble, he'll constantly try and play up this, and no one's really stopping it. Shroud is working his way back around, though.
Yeah, I mean, this is what defaults are kind of designed for, is to prevent this push from coming out. And look, I mean, this is just so clever from Magisk. If they come back towards A, that's just a crazy positioning. But here comes the B hit. Shroud's the only one there, and that's going to be a... No, it's not.
What?
All right, Shroud spots it out, and they're gun down drop, and they're going to split this A bomb site. They've now... This is a clever mid-round play from Cloud9, and it's going to work for them perfectly.
Good.
That is turned out very, very nicely. Shroud gets that kill. They rotate the bomb back towards A, and North had cheated 4 players over because of the intel from Magisk. But once he falls, they're all cut out and denied from getting back to the A bomb site.
That was so good. If Shroud didn't hit that shot, that could have gone completely differently. That could have fallen apart, but still, brilliantly done. Cloud9 giving themselves a huge opportunity now. North can't go on the buy. They've got a couple of upgraded pistols. We saw that worked, pretty well before, but you've got to think Cloud9 have plans. They've got means to deal with this unless they lose out pretty early on. But no, Magic's going down. Isn't going to be a huge surprise, though, to Cloud9. They might not expect these additional 2 players here. Config spots a foot. That's automatic. Gets a tag, but goes down for it.
Yeah, this is looking like it's a little bit safer of an anti-force buy than we saw earlier. There is 1 kill on AZ, but not a gun that they can salvage. Actually, maybe Cajun's running to get it. I didn't see exactly where that kill came out from. Shroud now, though, I mean, this is going to be an A bomb site for Cloud9. So it should be 9-11 after this. There is a flank to worry about. That can do a little bit of damage, but even so, I don't think that can turn the tides of this round, especially because, I mean, nothing. You want to talk about someone who's been around on the scene for a long time. How many rounds have we seen him as the one on Cloud9 who's just being very, very mindful of the flanks, just making sure he turns around. Well, we saw him clear out those A-halls on pistol round. We saw him do it later on with an AK and an anti against Deagles. So he's zoned in.
That's good. They need these players to turn up, because let's be honest, it's normally the story of Automatic, Stewie. Maybe Skadoodle a while ago. Shroud has his moments, but Jordan's not been...
He's having a good game.
Yeah, he's not been the headliner in previous matches, but he's starting to pick up here, and they're not the big flashy kills sometimes, but they're the ones securing the rounds. They're keeping North from doing anything dangerous or deadly or anything along those sort of lines. So let's see what North have in store. Finally, KGB's going to get that AWP as well, so we're going to see a little bit of play with that. The double danger stack coming out as well between Magisk and MSL. And Cloud9 aren't overly committing anywhere just yet.
Decent damage on a Shroud from that nade. Nicely done. And all of Cloud9, this is a little bit more of that default I was mentioning that's designed to kind of prevent those aggressions we saw to Magisk. Keeping an eye on everywhere on the map to make sure there's nothing crazy from North coming out. 3 players at B. Cajun is kind of going to lock that down. He's a little bit of the rock back in Chicken Coop with the AWP, so they can play around him. Config is close up. AZ watching drop, and that's an opening kill for Automatic, and here they come. It looks like it's going to be another A split. Config gets there, but he loses the fight. He's done a lot of damage, and now all of a sudden this A defense is really exposed, but Magic, he's making the clever play, spraying down nothing. It wasn't as quick as he'd like. Can't get the second one. Skadoodle recovers, and now MSL's out in the open, and Cloud9 have found their way. They've won all the trades.
Absolutely love that A split. Worked so well. You felt there was a danger, maybe he could pull a bit of a rabbit out of his hat then, Magisk, but it wasn't the case. He got dealt with pretty quickly. Well done in the end to keep that in check.
I think if he gets that first kill a little bit cleaner,
Yep.
it wasn't too bad. I mean, maybe just get that kill in like four bullets instead of like 9. That's when you kind of can really start tying them together. So North is going to have a pause coming out. 11-9 and Cloud9 are back in it. They're going to be able to have this AWP and Cajun B into the next round, which is huge because the money is a little bit beat up. This is where maybe you say, Cajun, get aggressive with that ult. See what you can create for us. See if you can start something. Maybe it's peeking down B platform. Maybe it's pushing into A halls. But you kind of play around the success of that AWP in the next round.
They're going to need to find something because so far this has been pretty flawless for Cloud9 on this half. Exactly flawless, to be fair.
6-0.
Yeah, lovely work. Bring them right back into this game. Bearing in mind, you know, on the first half, it was a little back and forth. He had a couple of close rounds there, but this seems like so far Cloud9 have the reins to this match. But eventually, even North's T-side got a little worked out. They found a response. So you can imagine North will come up with something. You've got to hope that this actually does come up with an answer. MSL, known for a good mind for this game. I don't think this will be the round we see it in, but we will make a bit of a guess that down the line, MSL will find a little bit of something here.
Yeah, this is... I'm interested to see because both of these teams kind of early leads on like one tactic. Cloud9 has now run this A split twice. I don't know if it was necessarily designed in that first gun round that they had. I think it might have just been something they called out of the benefit of what occurred. But definitely the next time around, that was a designed A split. So success there. And then North, obviously, the smoke wall that they did at that B bomb site is what propelled them to a huge lead in that first half. So both these teams kind of just running what works in it and seeing if the other team can stop it. North with this pause, maybe trying to figure something out of their own. I am just, I'm curious where they're going to put Cajun B with this one. On these kinds of rounds, I mean, I personally am not a huge fan of the lone op going over towards A halls because I feel like that kind of a position is just so far away from the other action if they don't go directly at them. So, ooh, they're actually going to buy up here. This is a force buy. So Famas come out for Magisk and MSL. You guys can't see on your screen quite yet, but I'm going to ruin the surprise. Config with the scout this time and AZ with the always deadly UMP.
Well, AZ needs to get a little bit deadly. The problem is that he has been holding drop, and he's only had 1 kill in this half so far, so he has been pretty much overrun here. He's never had a big chance to get going, but considering those two players have been outplaying him, he needs to find a way into this.
By the way, drop zone on Cbble is like the overwhelmingly, if you pull pro players, drop zone is probably the hardest position on any map to play in professional Counter-Strike. So obviously, North having a lot of faith in AZ coming over as a new pickup to be able to defend that.
Just think, you know, players like Flusher sit there normally, you know, the rocks of the team who can just control it. He does it with a UMP, so we know it's viable, but Cloud9 going to switch things up, and MSL and Magisk might be in for a little bit of trouble here. Maybe not. They get a bit of a lineup. Now, will they expect a second? No, Magisk is still dangerous here. He is surrounded, though, so hopefully he just gets dealt with quickly, and he does. There we go. Stewie keeps it in check.
The nice thing, though, is he stayed alive. He caused a bit of a distraction enough to where Cloud9 could be a little bit more patient, but Skidoo's just going to make his way up, and apparently he's got a pretty good AK on top of the AWP. So the Scout and the AWP, we know it's tough to retake with 2 ops. Now you put a Scout into that as well, and I think you're asking for too much. So damage is done, but unfortunately for Magisk, it's just that timing of nothing jumping across that opening. Nicely done from Cloud9. This is going to be all tied up at 11.
What are with these games? It starts like a little bit of a one-sided half. You're like, all right, this is going to be quite quick, like the first one, and then no. All right, Cloud9 dig their heels in and actually start playing some really, really nice CS. We're seeing some good work from them. I like the switch up there. Not doing the same thing. KGB's not going to give this up for free, though, of course. He's going to try and hold on to this as much as possible. So far, I think we've got another challenger coming through. I think it's going to be automatic, maybe trying a little something, but Config might get himself an AK if he wants it.
This is the kind of, I mean, just one criticism, because Cloud9's having a great terrace half, but that's a little bit of... North in the first half didn't really always chase down these guns, right? Now that Cloud9's done it, they've handed over a free AK-47 to Config. So rebuy's coming out and also saving them money. This can now be Cajun B can drop an M4, Config can drop an M4, so it's going to be another buy. So just, you know, maybe giving up some of that gun or that one AK at the end helps North put up a pretty decent buy.
And Cloud9 calling the tactical timeout this time.
Yeah, I've seen them do that a little bit recently, where it feels like a couple teams have actually done it, where, you know, they're having a good time, they're having like a good lead, they have some momentum, and they call their own tactical pause. Maybe that's just a little bit too centered. Maybe this is something where it's not, the timeout isn't to change anything. It's just to say, all right, guys, keep composed, stay focused. This is kind of like one of those mental timeouts, just for that benefit.
I think, what was it, you get 4 per game, right?
Yeah, but I think it's 4 per game, and you can only do 2 per half, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you might as well use them. If I'm honest, you might as well use them for these things. If you feel that your players benefit from it, why not call them in? So at this point, North, though, finally get their chance to find a response. Feels like a lifetime in the making at this point. They've been completely pushed down by Cloud9, but Cloud9 know what they're coming up against. They know that North are going to have everything they need. They're going to have that or back on Cbble, or still on Cbble, should I say. And everything else is there. Good utility, good kits. And we are live into this one. Let's see if Cloud9 switch up, as they know maybe a response has been formed by North. Maybe that A split will no longer be as viable. 4 players on long though from Cloud9. This is very reminiscent of the last round, but that was certainly not what I expected to see.
North's going to like it, though, because they're set up for this exact thing. But is Cloud9 going to use utility? I think Shroud's just going to keep this dry. He's going to lose that. Are they going to be where MSL is here as well? Cloud9 not using their nades properly. There's the trade. There's finally a Molotov that comes out, but it's not burning MSL. It is when he steps back to find the head of Automatic. Yeah, they just didn't expect that second player, and MSL just burns alive. All right, so bomb is down. North knows there's at least one more body out towards long. So they can start rotating, but actually look how, I mean, this is where it gets a little bit dangerous. Despite some of the success of that defense, everywhere Cloud9 could choose to go at the moment is a 2-on-1. One player in A, one player in drop, and one player at the B bomb site. So AZ has got to be careful at the back of this bomb site. He's got to land some shots.
Such a tough spot to hold as well, but all right, let's see if he can do it. Maybe just going to try and keep this safe as possible. Cloud9, 46 seconds to play with. Nothing, decent utility, so he can still set up, but Stu's just trying to creep up as close as he can before they show any presence. I can imagine Config's watching the cross. That'll be smoked out pretty soon. If if nothing actually fancies doing it, I can imagine that's going to be right about now. So, 30 seconds, smoke comes in. This is surely going to just give away what they're up to, and that's fine. Stewie's going to sit right in that smoke, living up to the reputation. You got to know what you're up against. Config about to be destroyed. There it is, and now the cross comes in, but AZ is still in charge here. Going to smoke himself out, buy a little more time. He's got something to play with now. Nothing's going to keep this in check, and actually, a nice little plant here. Cajun B's still all the way over a B, and if nothing gets us down and can turn in time, maybe there's something to be seen, but how has he got away with this? He's got the bomb down. He's in a 1v2, sure, but it's still nothing.
Yeah, I mean, with very low HP like this, he's got to find this kill onto Cajun, and the timing is going to be with him. I think Cajun spotted him as well. Yeah, Cajun's definitely waiting for it. It's not going to come from nothing. Got to be aware to stop this plant. Cajun is still guarding himself. Nothing has an opportunity here. They're not on the defuse. This needs to be a landed shot. It's not. Nicely done from Cajun B, but he takes a lot of damage. Nothing somehow puts himself in a position to actually win that in a different universe, I guess, maybe. Yeah. But, I mean, that's really nice. Smart as well by Nothing. You can see with that kind of HP, he's kind of resigned himself to the fact that it's more than likely going to be a loss. So just getting the bomb planted is a victory on itself. Finding that one position where he's safe to get the bomb down, at least get the bonus money for his teammates. That turned into a pretty dicey round after a good hold initially from North.
Yeah, that bit of a gamble stack, I guess, towards long really worked out.
You also saw, I know Chad highlighted around a North versus VP where a similar situation where VP just walked into that A bomb site and an AZ didn't have any info. He was playing it very, very passively. I know Chad highlighted that round on the post game, so maybe they saw that because he was peering up over the top. He was trying to get some kind of an indicator of what was coming.
Yeah, an interesting little touch. And Config playing a dangerous spot. Now, there's notable clips of Config playing incredibly well on the verge of this smoke. He does play this very, very nicely. He's actually in front of where the molly necessarily is, but it does mean he can be spotted. But look at this, he's brazen, he's ballsy, and he finds Stewie. Gonna back away comfortably as well. Known for this sort of prowess, he can have these little bits of impact. Finally, a bit of CT-sided aggression as well, working out towards B for North. And that's going to leave now Cloud9 with a question mark over their heads. You know, do we still commit here? Is he still pushed up? What is the play now?
I mean, really nice play from North, just essentially throwing those deep smokes and Molotov to really isolate Stewie in that position. So Config just goes, searches it out, gets his one kill, and he falls back. There's no real damage of being traded off or any kind of response from Cloud9 in that situation. If they do, they're coming through a smoke into God knows what. So really, really good stuff from North to give himself an advantage in this round. 12-11, trying to build on the last round's success. And Magisk again pushed up in A-Hall, so he has a good indication of what's coming. That's allowing MSL not to rotate fully, but to cheat. And another A-split coming out, but this time it is shut down. So North has figured it out.
Yeah, this is nicely read. Magic still playing on long. MSL knowing a decent spot of position. Shroud, though, if he landed that could have opened up a chance. A very slim one, bearing in mind. But with that going down, it means that North retain numbers and A stays theirs. Now, Cloud9, money-wise, they're fine. Yeah, 2 players can drop out, and actually automatics on 9k as well, so they're all right. But North have got themselves back in this game. It felt like a lifetime in the making, but they're still at 13-11 at this point, so they're still in the lead.
Another pause coming out for Cloud9. I think I heard when I said that earlier, I think the producer told me that there's no timeout limit up for half.
Oh, okay, cool. So they can just keep doing whatever they feel like, pretty much.
Yeah, and I mean, why not? 11-13 right now. So I mean, needing to get back on the board. They made this comeback this whole way. I mean, brilliant start to this half for them. 7 rounds straight. North takes their own timeout, and it seems like they have the response now. So Cloud9 looking at they want to adjust, looking at what they want to switch up. a lot of this has been towards the A bomb site as well, and even if it's not towards A, it's at least a split to the A bomb site, so a little bit of pressure at B, but they haven't really committed towards that B site at all.
No, you're absolutely right. Now, North, you're going to have to look towards getting the close now. If you keep Cloud9 possible in this, I've got a feeling that if they work it out, they will not let go of that. They will run this right into the ground and try and take it in just regular time. But we'll see if they can keep this sort of thing up. And Cloud9 right now, we're going back to what we saw at the start. Kind of the 3 players, again, keeping eyes in case there's early aggression, just keeping some place over here, just hoping maybe someone makes a peek. We've seen a couple of players actually pushing up towards long. Magisk, known for doing it every now and then. Shroud and Automatic showing as well over towards B, so they're showing presence throughout the map. They're not allowing North to work anything out easy, but a quick flash from Automatic. Is he going to play into this early? No, he backs away from it. Just a quick flash and leaves. See if AZ will use anything to try and hinder his approach.
Molotov at least could force AZ back. He's going to smoke it off himself. So, I mean, that smoke, even though it extinguishes the Molotov, it still does the job. Magisk now getting aggressive, and they actually had nades out. Nothing, he wasn't prepared for that kind of a peek. Magisk is brought so low, and that smoke's not going to fool anyone, but he somehow wins it anyways. It's got to be Stewie next, but no!
Oh my god!
Oh, Magisk, he's living up to his name at the moment. No longer a boy, but a man, as he gets those 2 kills and falls away.
That's heartbreak as well if you're Cloud9. This is going to fall to pieces now. Yeah, MSL is just going to kind of twist the knife as Cbble left in the 1v4.
Yeah, you just can't do that. You cannot allow him to get away in that fashion. And that's one of the few times you really have seen like Stewie just look almost scared to take a fight. I mean, that's one of the kind of defining features of his play as such a young player quickly up into the pro scene was that he wasn't afraid to take any fight, wasn't afraid to take any duel, but slowly creeping around the edge, Magisk recovers nicely. I mean, that he wins this one is one thing. It's this follow-up.
God, that's just filth, isn't it? You know what I mean? That's the sort of play that leaves a little bit of a scar to you. It's like, why is he able to do it in this round? So 14-11 now. North finding a way back into this, and clean rounds mean that their money starts to become more and more stable as well. They need that. They were, a little bit of a verge. Cloud9's money starting to dwindle a touch. Shroud down towards the Galil, so not ideal, but Cbble having a little bit of peek up and over. Config, he's playing again that sort of position where he likes to play on the verge of that smoke, a little bit closer than where normally the mollies go towards.
Setting that same play up again, it looks like.
Yep.
Oh.
No, he's not going to commit to it this time.
All right. So he threw the Molotov out. I think, oh, there it is. Nice find from Cajun, predicting that boost. Yeah, now, I mean, that pause seems to have done everything for North.
The 1-2 punch then between Config and Cage and B has completely eliminated most of the pressure towards that B site, but Automatic is still in drop. He's still being a huge nuisance here. He's playing this so well. He's been able to solo play through drop himself, create split opportunities, but nothing else has been working. Stewie will find Magisk this time. Scared or not, doesn't matter. He's going to be able to find a way through. Now Automatic wants to find his reply, find a way in, and he's got it too. The 2 younger players coming into this one, the 2 players who are newer to this roster, finding opportunities for Cloud9, but that bomb is still left back by the B halls, so Config and Cajun B might be left with a chance in this one. That's going to be a long rotate for nothing here, but MSL still on the A side as well. The position works again. It wasn't easy this time. It didn't matter though, and nothing's got to dig deep here to try and keep his team in this matchup.
Yeah, some success for Stewie and Automatic, but the bomb wasn't in a position for Cloud9 to really take advantage of it. MSL still in the back, just being a distraction, and nothing can't hit that shot. So it's 15 now for North. There's still money. I mean, it's mostly dwindled away. It's going to be light on utility if Cloud9 goes for AKs. They're going to have to. Someone's going to have to sacrifice and just go for pistols to be able to buy the smokes and the nades that are needed to get into bomb sites. But Cloud9 bring it all the way back to 11-11, but North figures it out at that point.
Just asking, were you in the mid smoke? And Stewie says no. So. Always fun to
Yeah,
see
but even if he was, I think Stewie still says no.
Yeah, exactly. You're never going to give it away.
A magician never reveals his tricks.
And Stewie this time, funny enough, is in the mid-smoke. So just so you know, Magic's going to have some fun there if he actually goes walking through that, I can imagine. But at the point, Stewie's the least of their trouble. It's the 4 players lining up actually over by B that could be the split towards drop. Config and Cajun B still very much out and facing here. Config is such a monster at this, but nice quick response. Good pressure comes back in. Good trades as well. Keeps it to a 3v3. But Cajun B could now be overwhelmed. But so far, he's managed to keep his ground, keep his cool. There's 3 players in between him and his teammates. Any support is now negated. But if he hit that shot, that would be everything. Cbble has the bomb. He gets the tag. It's not enough.
Yeah, it looked like he had an opportunity for a couple great shots, so he just misses. Magisk is quickly the only one left, so Cloud9 somehow claw themselves back into this round. I did want to bring up that the timing from Config, he throws that Molotov just as the smoke, like a second before it's about to fade. So as soon as it fades, he's ready to exploit anyone trying to escape the flames, and he does. 2 kills for him, but no one else can get anything else. Cloud9, with that pressure towards platform, that's when they choose to pounce down drop and overwhelm the weaker defense at that position, and then just Cajun misses some critical shots that he normally hits, to be fair. So 15-12, Cloud9 still alive in this one, but they've got to battle back, and all the best they can hope for at the moment is overtime, obviously.
I'm just going to be perfectly fine here. No one that close by. Money-wise, they're still good. AZ's a little low on cash, so could be dropped out. He'll be alright. There we go. So yeah, money's pretty nice for North. Onto the 8k sort of mark at 6k as well. Cajun B, the rebuy's fine. On the other side, I'm glad they kept that many people alive. Let's put it that way.
One thing North does super well. I haven't seen too much of it in this particular game. A little bit, but I think they're one of the smartest teams in terms of how they use their economy. They're one of the teams that very early on in rounds, if they feel they've lost it, sometimes they just don't even risk going for a retake whatsoever. Now that means you can't, win some of the miracle rounds that we see otherwise, but it just means they can always scrap some decent buy together.
Oh god, if they go for a quick hit here, Cloud9 can be in such trouble. There's 4 players present towards this site over for North, and Cajun B already finding Stewie is a massive bit of impact. He's still alive, so is Config. And look at this guy! The timing is perfect, and Config has just kicked Cloud9. And now nothing. What are you gonna do? You just have to sit back and watch as your team gets dismembered by Config and Cajun B in the end. 16-12 is the scoreline, and Cloud9 just shatter.
Yeah, I mean, Config has been playing in that position so many different rounds, waiting to make that exact play, and he does it. I mean, it's pretty gutsy. I mean, all things considered, it was good. The positives you could take away if you're Cloud9 is, you could have just been crushed after that first half. You could have just been out of the fight. So you even things up, you fight back, you stay alive mentally, with some good splits towards the A bomb site, but just not enough coming out. North, tactically for the most part in the first half, outplays him, and then in the second half, while they struggle, they tactically outplay him there after a pause. So nicely done from MSL and all the boys of North. Cloud9 do fall there.
Yeah, the groups are getting incredibly close now. Group B is still not clear-cut. By the end of the day, this might be a long one, Jason. Yeah. This might be a long night, and I'm ready for it. So guys, do stay tuned. We'll be back with the desk's thoughts on that matchup and what else is to come tonight.
As North bellow a victory roar, the SK side sigh a sigh of defeat. It's not worked out well for the Brazilians. It will just be Immortals that can show Brazilians now here at IEM Katowice. With that victory going the way of North, we will not be seeing SK Gaming in the playoffs. That is the beauty, or of course the pain of this format. SK watching biting their nails, praying for a Cloud9 victory. Yanko and Chad are joining me to understand how this one did go down. Cobblestone again and North have almost cemented a playoff spot playing one map, Chad. What do you make of that?
Oh, it's tight. It's definitely tight, this group. That was a good map by North. And once again, more success on Cobble, right? Like, it's crazy. I was watching that map and I was really happy with the way that they were setting the pace on their T side. I think they were hitting that B bomb site with the same execute over and over again, but they did throw in an A hit. And I like the fact that they were punishing Cloud9 for not adjusting. Yeah. So that was interesting for me in the early stages. But then Cloud9, they looked like they were back in it. There was a really good mid-round decision when Magic's pushed A and Shroud and made that frag, and for them to go drop towards A and be able to swarm that site because they had cheated players over, which Moses was talking about during the cast, was a really good mid-round decision, actually.
And I mean, that round does not go that way if Shroud doesn't get that frag, right?
Exactly, yeah.
One man, and of course Shroud, someone that's often a bit of a target on the analyst desk, could have done enough to at least bring that round home. Not enough, though, for Cloud9 to pick up the win. What have you got for us on the telestrator this time, though, Yanko?
It's something that Chad mentioned briefly. It's that B hit that North was executing a lot of times in gun rounds and in antique rounds. We can play it for starters so that you guys can see the positions of some of these players. So you can pause it now just to explain it to the viewers on the minimap. So you will see the wall of smokes that basically covers whole of the bomb site. If you look at it like this, it basically cuts the bomb site in half. So what's important here for the CTs basically is for them to decide whether they want to push together through the smokes as a team and challenge that execute, or do they just want to stand back, wait for the smokes to clear in a sense, and then go for the retake later on. What you will see in the execute is that North is actually perfectly aware of this. They see that no one's challenging them early on. That means the CTs are staying far back, so they will boost a player up on the tree, which is what's going to make the difference in the end, allow them to defend the retake. So now we can play out the rest of the clip so you guys can see how it's actually executed, and we can also talk over it, Chad.
Yeah, just something interesting to note, the way that North are doing this execute. There are slight tweaks to their smokes, but it's still the relatively forward smokes on that statue. Teams have adjusted now where they're doing the smokes behind the statue area, and that way they're able to take the duel with the CTs because they are able to swindle around the smokes and throw their own smoke on top of it and give themselves an interesting angle to play from. You didn't see that coming out from Cloud9 at all, and they also didn't have a lot of utility. If you just have a look there, they didn't have a lot of utility to use to stop this.
And this is the boost that, you know, got them the kill and gave them enough ground for the rest of the team to set up. But it's also important to note that they have variations to this execute in a sense that they throw the same smokes, they use the utility pretty much in the same way, but sometimes they send a player down drop. They did this in another gun round where MSL was actually lurking through drop, and I think he got at least 2 kills, maybe 3 kills even in that round.
I'm sorry, the reason I've been sitting quietly on the desk is
because you have people who know what they're talking about.
Oh no, you're incredibly good. Normally I would have been, you know, acknowledging your brilliance. However, there was a lack of acknowledgement there, just so I could try and understand what's happening now with the standings.
Okay.
We've got 3 games of Counter-Strike to be played.
Lovely.
We have North versus Virtus Pro, Heroic versus Virtus Pro. Heroic did just beat Na'Vi, so to understand that brings us to a 4-way tie, as you can see in front of you. Cloud9, their last game will be versus Na'Vi. The winner of that looks like they've got a playoff spot. That's going to be coming up next on this main stream. And you have North versus SK. If North win that, then it is going to be cementing their spot in the semi-finals.
So SK have nothing to play for.
SK have nothing to play for.
Or to ruin the hopes of...
Or can make North a little uncomfortable.
Squeamish.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a good summary there, Alex.
Everyone on the level plane? Happy?
People want to know who qualifies, Alex, depending on results.
Would you like to do that as well?
I need the standings back up so I can
show you them. How's that?
And a lot of time.
The problem here is, the biggest question mark is, what does North do against SK? Because SK has nothing to play for result-wise, but they definitely don't want to go out on a loss, and they're definitely a hard team to beat despite their run here today. So if North beats SK, then it comes down to whoever wins the other 2 games.
Yeah.
Winners go to the playoffs, losers go out. But if North loses...
tie time.
It's still actually those three teams qualify. We just might have tiebreakers for the spots.
Yes.
Who's first and who's gonna go in second or third.
So bottom line is
Winner goes through.
Winner goes
we
through.
like that, Alex. We
Yes,
like
indeed.
that.
That's
you
a
win,
format.
you qualify, you lose, you go out. See ya.
There you go. Yanko has summarized it beautifully. We are going to be taking a quick break, but when we do return, we will be witnessing a little bit of something special. You win the game, you're in. You lose, you'll be watching from the Spodek stands as we venture into the playoffs after a quick break.